Welcome to another video by Kilio Corey's Fish Room. Today we are going to do a review on the new brine shrimp hatchery by Ziss Aqua. Their new brine shrimp hatchery model is called ZH2000 and they are calling it a Artemia blender. Brine shrimp are a great food for people breeding fish, so this is a really useful tool for people who keep fish and also breed fish. This is the overall look of the box. Nice clear labeling showing the brine shrimp hatchery, 2 liters. And here you can see that what's in the box. The brine shrimp hatchery, it says patent pending. There's a thermometer with O-ring, a air diffuser, and a needle type valve. And ZH2000 is the model number, and the size of it on the box, it says 18 centimeters by 14 by 33. At the back there are some user instructions in different languages. Ziss Aqua is a Korean company, so obviously there are a number of languages there: English, German, French, etc. It's a 2-liter hatchery, can be hang on inside or outside of the tank. Heater and thermometer can be installed. Heater is not included in the box, and this is the other side of the box. It's a quite a good size at 2 liters. Inside there are a number of components. The first one is the clear plastic hatchery part. This is basically one of the reasons why we really wanted to get it as soon as we can, because this design to us seemed really user-friendly. Quite a large opening to pour. The handle is great, it's really comfortable to hold, and it's secure, and that's the handle you can hang inside the fish tank, I assume. And this is the bottom of the container where the contents can be drained. Quite sturdy plastic, barring any accidents like dropping it on the floor, it should last many years. The stand is made from black plastic. The quality feels really good. Again, it's quite solid, not brittle at all. Quite good design. It's really well balanced, really, for the whole thing to sit on. And the other component is the lid for the blender part, and this is the lid with number of holes on it. It's a sort of a clear brown color lid. So there's a big hole for the heater to be installed. The Airline hole is that one where you connect the Airline. That's the heater, that's where it goes. And here is where the thermometer that's supplied goes through. It's with the Ziss Aqua logo. And this is the needle type valve that they included. It's quite a good size, quite easy to handle. a number of O-rings on it, and it gets attached to the underside of the clear blender part, and it screws on really smoothly, and no force need to be applied at all, and that basically plugs that hole where the contents stay inside, and then you basically unscrew it to decant the contents. So it's quite a good design, which is quite useful in the fish room. So, and the whole thing sits on the stand like so. It's quite solid. Yeah, quite happy with the design. Quite good. Also in the box we have a pipette, a plastic pipette, once you hatch your brine shrimp, to be able to feed your fish. These are plastic pipettes, quite useful for all sorts of applications with your fish keeping, but for obviously feeding your brine shrimp as well. The other thing in the box is this cool glass thermometer. Again, it feels like a quality product. It's quite good because knowing the temperature of your water help you guess the hatching time. An O-ring is supplied as well. You put the O-ring at the top end of the thermometer so that it can sit on the lid, and the whole thing sort of comes together. But overall, each part seems quite well made. So here's the whole assembly with the lid, and when the lid goes on, so this is how it looks. Again, looking down from the top, the Airline section, the heater, and where the thermometer is going to go. And I'll just put the thermometer in now so that you guys can see. It's a good design, like I said. That way you can actually set the temperature to optimum hatching temperature for your baby brine shrimp. It's quite a solid, intelligent design, it looks like, and that's where the heater goes. And the last two bits of equipment that comes out in the box is this rigid Airline tube. It's the length that I'm assuming Ziss Aqua is suggesting how far down the air stone should be, and this is the Ziss air diffuser. They're calling it model ZH2000. I really like Ziss air stones because you can easily clean them and control the airflow by how tight or loose you make the connections. And it goes on one end of the rigid tube, the rigid Airline, and the other end goes on the lid. So in the way we do that, obviously, so this is the Airline part, Now you just need to push that in, and it's quite securely connected. And this is the whole assembly with the Airline. To set up your brine shrimp hatcher, you need to put your hatching water, salty water, in the blender part. Like we mentioned already, the 2 liter is quite a good amount. For people who haven't hatched brine shrimp much before, you can make a new solution, saltwater solution, for each time you're hatching brine shrimp, or you can recycle the water 2 or 3 times after you get the baby brine shrimp out, but we like to use new water. So now I'm just going to connect the Airline at the top, and you can see the air diffuser working through in the hatcher. Quite a good design, really. This is the front view, and the other side. And that's where the heater and the thermometer would go. I'm not putting them in because our fish room is at a constant temperature, so that's where the thermometer would go if I was using it. So what I'm now going to do is set up the hatchery for a test run to see how it's going to work. So obviously you do need brine shrimp eggs, which are obviously not supplied with the box. So just going to put some of these eggs in the brine shrimp hatchery. So for me the heater hole is a really great spot to drop the brine shrimp eggs in, and the bubbling of the water mixes the eggs through relatively quickly. And if I zoom in a little bit, hopefully you can see the eggs are mixed through in the water already. So on purpose I left the air diffuser loosely connected, so the bubble size is quite large. So what I'm actually going to do is turn the diffuser a little bit to create smaller, finer bubbles, as you can see. And this is much more preferable in my opinion, for good mixing, and it's sort of gentle bubbling. Because I'm not using the heater, I'm a little worried about some splashing that might happen from the top. So for me, when we are using this equipment in the fish room, I would actually cover that hole, and so I'm just going to use one of these containers we happen to have in the fish room to cover those 2 holes. So the only improvement I can see to this design and what's included in the box might be a little cover for the heater hole, but most people, I imagine, would be using a heater in there, so for most people covering that hole won't be necessary because the heater would be doing that job. So after 24 hours, you can see the color of the water has changed with the hatched brine shrimp. And in terms of the salinity to use and how much brine shrimp and etc., please see the instructions supplied with the brine shrimp eggs that you buy. This is just a review of the hatchery, the hatching rates and the water pH and etc. salinity to use are not really relevant for this review. This is how the bubbling is happening in the container. And I turn the air off so that the brine shrimp can settle. Because I'm a little impatient, I actually started videoing before all the eggs hatched, so you can see there are some unhatched eggs mixed through there as well. So the brine shrimp now well and truly settled. They're moving around in the blender, the Ziss Aqua ZH2000, and this is the underside of the blender. You can see the brine shrimp. And obviously there are a few eggs that have not hatched yet, or they might never hatch really, but the brine shrimp are a great fry food, and I don't really know many successful fish breeders that don't use baby brine shrimp as part of their fry raising. That's what makes this equipment quite useful in the fish room, or people who have just a few tanks and like to breed fish as well. So this is how easy it is to decant. You turn the needle type valve with just 2 fingers. It's quite easy to manipulate. The weight of the blender itself is holding it secure, so I'm not really holding the top at all. So just 2 fingers to turn the flow on and off. And obviously then you need to pour the brine shrimp through a brine shrimp net. Ziss Aqua do sell brine shrimp nets as well, and using the pipette, feeding your fish newly hatched baby brine shrimp. Quite a lot of adult fish would also eat baby brine shrimp, so it is not purely for fry. But you can see the brine shrimp are now in the tank with the fry. And here's a side view of feeding baby brine shrimp to some live bearer fry. Overall, it's a great piece of equipment, quite user friendly, very easy to use, and we are quite actually happy to have got this bit of equipment. We already have a bunch of different brine shrimp hatcheries in the fish room, but we are always on the lookout for finding equipment that might save us a little bit of time. Even if we get to save extra couple of minutes, it just makes the maintaining of the large fish room quite easy. So here it is, a quality product by Ziss Aqua. The the Brine Shrimp Hatchery, ZH2000. They're also calling it Artemia blender. Also, I should point out, this is not a paid review. We purchased this Brine Shrimp Hatchery to try in our fish room, and we are quite happy to have done so. Hope you enjoyed this review by Kilio Corey's Fish Room.